Hello and welcome to another episode of Tales from a Professional Nerd. My name is Bryan Steele and I will be your nerd today and any other day that you watch one of my silly little shows. Hi everybody. Today I'm apologizing. Today's probably going to be a pretty fast episode. I have a lot to do for various things. You'll hear about some of that in the Week of Bryan, but also because I need to get prepared for Gamehole Con next week. I need to get everything squared away, but there is definitely a few things that I want to, focus on. Just kind of want to run down my general schedule. So if you are someone who watches the show and is going to be at Gamehole Con, you'll roughly know what I'm up to. And if you aren't somebody who goes to Gamehole Con, you'll understand when I say these conventions, even the ones that are my favorites, like Gamehole Con, can be hectic, busy, tiring, and the reason why I don't try and squeeze in an extra episode in the middle of the convention. So let's run through the Week in Bryan. On a personal basis, things are fine. We're cleaning up the house. We've scheduled our annual Christmas Friendsmas party. Just kind of getting things squared away. Going to the gym like normal. I mean, personal life has been pretty average. The closest thing to super weird that has happened lately is I now officially, when my son is here at this house, I twice a day have to use this little wrenchy thing that looks like a Lego person's arm to crank wider twice a day for one crank. The expander bar thing that's in his mouth attached to his braces and stuff. I hate it. It kills me to hurt him in any way, but I know it's for a good cause, and I know that medically it has to happen. So I do it, and then I go cry silently in the corner when I know that it has been done. Kidding, I don't actually anymore. Hobby-wise, I haven't done jack this week. Getting everything, and now that everything is basically handled, all the minis and all the stuff that I've got for Gamehole Con specifically, now that all of that stuff has been painted and handled and put away and packed and ready to go, the Warzone trophy is done, like now that all that stuff has been handled, I needed to take a breather to work on all of the managerial stuff, and anytime I go to a convention, it means that all my other projects kind of have to come to a bit of a halt for, almost a week. So I've just been working real hard on a lot of the other stuff, and we'll get into that in the work section in a second. So hobby, meh, not a lot of painting and stuff going on. Gaming, the new expansion for Diablo 4 came out. Got to play a little bit of that last night with my buddy Brian. Still playing some Space Marine, or rather Space Marine 2, I guess is necessary to say. But playing a lot of Total War 3, Total Warhammer 3, with kind of in tandem with my son. It's cool. It's a great game. It emulates all the great stuff from, the old Warhammer fantasy game that I fell in love with for for decades, that I haven't had a chance to play because Age of Sigmar kind of came along and sucked up all the air out of the room. So this video game definitely scratches that itch, but I find myself having those same kind of cool lore discussions and things with Connor now, because he's getting to see part of this world, and he'll ask about a particular unit, and I'll be like, oh my god, I've got a story about that unit, and so it's very cool, and I'm very glad that I went ahead and sucked it up and bought that for my computer, so that way I could let Connor play his games, and I mean, hell, he's better at it than I am. But it's a nice way, because I can't get him to really get into miniature games in and of themselves. It's a nice way for us to be able to kind of miniature game together, if that makes any sense. I hope so. Sorry, my nose is just... And I need to take a drink of my tea. Yeah, it's very cold in the studio this morning, so I have some tea. I've been kind of alternating tea and coffee, not because I need the caffeine, but because it's cold. That's why I'm wearing my wonderful Resnova staff hoodie for Warzone Eternal, which is a great segue into work. Sorry. Spaced out there. Putting words on Shadowrun stuff feels good, getting that narrative down. I'm very excited not only for the project that I just handed in a short for the new Augment zine, but also it'll be I'm starting to put words together for the new novel, which stars a whole bunch of characters from the World of Shadows streaming show. And so I can't wait to be able to show the people who these characters belong to, and let them see kind of what their characters mean to me and what some of their roles and things that they've done mean to me through my eyes and my words. So that's super rad. I have officially started the kind of number crunching / developmental process for some of the really cool stuff that's coming down the road for Xeogenesis. So that's awesome. Did a little, not a lot, did a little tweaking to a couple of the Strange Hollow monsters this week. And in that same kind of D&D adjacent vein, literally this morning, or I guess it'd be yesterday morning for when this video comes out, the cat got let out of the bag. The effervescent and esteemed Luke Gygax reached out, and I'm getting to help him with his Wrath of the Sea Lich Akarim adventure for the Shadow Dark role-playing game. It's currently at Kickstarter. I'm going to go ahead and put the link to that in the description here. You should totally check it out. I think there's a couple more weeks left on that. But in his most recent update, he incidentally let the cat out of the bag that I'm helping him with some of the conversions to the monsters and things, and a couple of class conversions. It's going to be always fun to get to even hang out with Luke, but getting to actually work with him on a project, I'm very, very happy, very ecstatic with it. And Shadow Dark is a lot of fun. It's very basic. It is very streamlined. It is an extremely streamlined version of D&D 5e. It's obviously its own animal, but for all the people who are like, there are too many rules in 5e, Shadow Dark is a great way to hop in, get some role-playing done, but still have some of that crunch and some of that mechanic and some of the stuff that's heralds back to the olden days. The olden days of D&D. So while I'm currently working off of a PDF of the rules, my physical copy is in transit. When it arrives, maybe I'll do an entire show, flip through it, and tell you about how cool it is. Because there's a reason why it won a bunch of Emmys this last year. It is a great take. Will it replace D&D? No, I think that there's a lot of people who, D&D has the right amount of crunch for them. But I think Shadow Dark really does hit that nice middle ground between you don't need to think too hard to make it work, but it's just complex enough that you can't just beer and pretzels your way through it either. So just excited to be able to work with Luke and work in this rule set. I think it's going to be super rad. Which brings us to my two primary gigs. Evil Genius going strong. In fact, actually later today we get a a super cool internal team-only playtest session. We're going to start off, basically I'm going to run a game for a bunch of the team members to help work out some of the bugs, no pun intended. But also, it's important for a company to... my camera's all wonky. It's important for a company to really feel and play its own products, in my opinion. Not everybody on the staff necessarily has to, but I think it's nice if you ever have any kind of public facing. If you're, if someone's going to, in social media or something, give an opportunity to talk to you about your product, it's cool to have some experience and maybe even just a character to relate to them, or to say, when we played, this happened. So I think it's just generally a very cool thing. We're going to try and do this. We're going to try and meet weekly for it, but with conventions and meetings and all the other stuff and holidays, we know that that's not going to be the case, but it is going to be a long-term mini-series of a game. So I'll be excited to dive into that with my coworkers. What else? Working on a very cool Christmas-themed adventure for Everyday Heroes. More on that in the future. If you are already a member of the Patreon for Evil Genius, you probably have already seen the advertisements for it. But Sig and I have Sig has knocked it out of the park when it came to putting together the nuts and bolts of that I'm going to be building with, and then I hope I can do the same with the adventure. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And then last but definitely not least, Warzone Eternal. So some big news earlier this week. I started the pre-orders for the Warzone Eternal Tournament Kit #1. Now, some people have asked, hey, the models aren't even out yet. Why are you pre-ordering this? So the goal is to be able to have these tournament kits in the players' hands in enough time that they can study it and understand it and be ready to play and run their own tournaments when the models arrive, when those models ship out, which hopefully will be right around the corner. But I can't guarantee that. What I can guarantee is that I have all of the parts necessary to get that tournament kit out into people's hands. We have one last step before. So the kit itself, just to let people know, the kit itself is $20 for the kit itself. During pre-order, I'm letting people buy extra coins for $6 a piece. And in order to get in on that, all you have to do is email me at brian@ursasden.com. And say that you're interested in buying X number of tournament kits and X number of bonus coins, and then I will ask for some information. I'll cook up an invoice and I'll get it sent out to you. But to let you know what's in the kit, so you get 3 of these very cool Luna City credit coins that are perfectly 40 millimeters across, which makes them objective markers, or good stand-ins for objective markers. So it says 1 Luna City credit, 1 credit on one side, and on the other it is in the cardinal strength, lux hominum, and it's got Luna and the Brotherhood symbol right there in the middle. So they are a couple of millimeters thick. They are solid metal. They are not plastic. Made by the amazing coinsmiths over at Norse Foundry. They put these together for us. Very excited to... Here, a little ASMR for you. So the kit comes with 3 of those, comes with 1 tournament organizer patch, and then it comes with a flash drive. And on this flash drive has all of the forms and certificates and rules that you need from a tournament standpoint, and basically a really kind of a point by, like a bullet by bullet, how to set up your own tournament, how to judge it, how to, like, it's just it's an all-in-one sort of thing. Now, the reason why I'm saying it's a pre-order is because the files that are on these flash drives need to go through one last pass through our layout guy, basically to make sure that they are pretty, make sure that they are up to the standards for the rest of our published materials. And then once that's done, I will be able to start shipping this stuff out. So you'll have these things, anybody who has paid for one or more kits, I will be able to get that stuff shipped out to you as soon as the layout guy is done sprucing up all the files. There's no reason why you couldn't have this in your possession and utterly at home with it. Maybe even run like your own little proxy tournament or something beforehand, as long as once layout gets through with this, then I will start shipping things out. Also on the Warzone front, I did get a cool playtest game in of a unit that is very representative of a faction that is not currently represented in our Kickstarter wave, and I'm very happy with how they have turned out. They are the right kind of badass, and the weapon loadout on their support choice is something that's never been fully represented in game, and so super excited to see how all of that comes together down the road. I mean, the sculpts are still being worked on, but I did get to make sure that their rules are nice and flavorful, and they feel right. So that was fun. But yeah, so that's pretty much all of my work stuff in a nutshell. I mean, I know that took forever, but it's because I work a lot of jobs. The life of a freelance /staff employee, writer, author, designer person, it never ends. Not if you want to be able to pay the bills. But next week, technically my Gamehole Con starts on Wednesday. I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of kind of how this is going to go. So Wednesday is the kind of special guest dinner, and we're going to sign the fancy 50th anniversary poster and get all of our stuff for Run the Games, and it's just kind of the general check-in party, and it's a lot of fun. Thursday is my light day, where I only run one session. I run the Strange Waters, a pre-generated Strange Hollow adventure using some pre-generated characters. The actual 2024 Player's Handbook rules for surviving Strange Hollow. And people get to meet firsthand Captain Trent Rotworth, my iconic character from the book. So that's cool. Friday I get to start bright and early at 10 a.m. With my first of the D&D 50th anniversary special event game sessions. They're only an hour long, but they're just a fun little, jaunt through a very short and wonderful, a wonderful little adventure lit. Where everyone gets a fun taste using the pre-generated characters there. They get to leave with their character. It's a great way to celebrate the 50th anniversary of D&D. Then later on at noon, I get my first session of Heck Divers 2, an Intergalactic Heroes splash adventure where, go figure, you play a bunch of drop core soldiers against a biological menace called the Arthros. I have played through this with my local playtest folk, and a few people who had never played IGH or EDH before, and they had a good time. I really think I've got everything streamlined down to it, and that should be a ton of fun. And then later that day, or rather that evening, I have a dinner meeting with a bunch of writers who will hopefully be doing some adventure work on Intergalactic Heroes next year. And then I I know that I'm going in order to enjoy the show, but my friend Tommy said there's a possibility that I might enjoy it more than I was expecting, and possibly from the other side of the table. But there is a Legacy of Worlds adventure session, a streamed show at Gamehole Con that night that I'm going to go and visit and maybe be a part of in some way. I don't know. Saturday starts over with the 10 a.m. another Intergalactic Heroes. This is more of a Throne World saga, full IP, like full-size adventure called With This Ring I Thee Wed. Or I Thee Dead. Sorry, I lost the pun when I was talking to you about it. And where it takes a plucky crew of expert spacers and one smuggler into and being partially invited guests at a pirate wedding. Then that night, I've got another Legacy of Worlds to come and say hi and possibly be a guest for. Unknown on those. I definitely want to go and support my buddies over at Six Sides of Gaming, and the Legacy of Worlds series, which is Destiny of Worlds, Fate of Worlds, Mysteries of Mana, and then the Legacy of Worlds Season 1. If you haven't had a chance to go check it out, some of the episodes are pretty long. They're hour and a half, 2 hours long, but it's great. Devin is a great game master, and it's a lot of fun to see some of these iconic characters from the D&D that we grew up with, playing in the same party, and some of the hijinks that ensue. So if you haven't had a chance, you should totally go to Six Sides of Gaming's YouTube channel and look up their video streams for any of the of Worlds or the Mystery of Mana. Basically, their Legacy of Mana or Imaria series are amazing. You should totally check those out. And then Saturday Night Late from 9 to 11, I have the Saturday Night's MAME event. It's actually an X-Crawl DCC Classics. I guess DCC. Is it DCC Classics or DCC? Well, either way, it's an X-Crawl game where it's a charity game. That you will be able to, if you want to sponsor one of our teams. I believe I am on the yellow team. I might be on the green team. Let me check. I'm going to put the link in. I'm scheduled to be on the green team, and I will definitely put the link to be able to be a sponsor of the MAME event, and being a sponsor actually allows you to it adds things to the game, from fun sponsor messages to player call outs to the actual benefits to stuff that happens in game. I will post the link in the description of the video, so you can, if you would like to be a sponsor of Saturday night's MAME event, you could sponsor any of the teams. It is for charity, but obviously you want to do green team. And then that's Saturday, and then Sunday I wrap up with I think I've got a Shadowrun game. I might have a Shadowrun game on Thursday too. I've got several streaming games that aren't on my schedule because the way the ticketing system works, I didn't want to take a seat from somebody because I'm going to be there, but I'm playing. I know I get to play Hollywood in one of these adventures, and I know in one of the Imarian adventures, I get to be my barbarian, Nuggle Honeysbane. So just a crazy amount of fun. I know I've got a couple of panels. Some of that stuff will be decided kind of when I'm there. And then everything wraps up on Sunday with another of the 50th anniversary D&D games. So I could go on and on and on about how fantastic and how cool Gamehole Con is, and I often do. But I just wanted to basically let you guys know that the reason why I say this show is so good, and the reason why I go absolutely out of my way to jam pack it full of cool stuff is because this show is definitely one of my favorites. But it is also a great way for me to kind of capstone my year, kind of end my year. I'm scheduled to go to PAX Unplugged with Evil Genius this year. Which is not my normal routine. So Gamehole is the end of my normal routine, if that makes any sense. And then we'll see how everything goes for PAX, because I'm sure I'll end up doing some cool stuff there too, but none of that is set in stone at this time. Yeah, so that's going to be my Gamehole, my Gamehole Con, all in a nutshell. I won't have a video next week, but you'll be able to see me several places on, if you go to the Six Sides of Gaming YouTube, you'll be able to see me on a bunch of that stuff. In place of watching this normal video, you should totally go to their channel and watch a bunch of the Legacy of Worlds stuff, or World of Shadow Season 1. Just a lot of really good things to keep you occupied on your YouTube viewing while I'm away at Gamehole Con. And then when I get back next week, or when I get back after Gamehole Con, so in 2 weeks, I will give you consider this part 1, and then I will give you the lowdown on how everything went at the show. I will give you the lowdown when I get back for the second half, the other side of the coin, so to speak. And maybe I'll have some more cool news for you at that time. But until then, please be safe. Wash your hands. Wear a mask if you have to. It's starting to get cold out, so wear nice warm clothes, and just try and leave every room a little better, a little happier than when you got there. And I will see you in 2 weeks, during which time you should definitely have some fun, and you should definitely play some games. We'll see you in 2.